delighted so many of you have been able to attend today, because this is an issue which is critically important to the motor industry, both here in the UK and indeed across Europe. With two capital cities floating penalties on diesel cars, the development of low emission zones potentially in London and other cities, and indeed some councils looking at, local councils looking at penalties to put additional charges on diesel cars. We think diesel's had its fair share of the headlines, and the headlines haven't always been favourable. So I think diesel technology is in real danger of being unfairly demonised at the expense both of consumers and indeed the environment. So I've invited you here this morning to try and set the record straight, to show why diesel vehicles should not be treated as the problem, but as part of the solution. Now the first point to make, and it's perhaps an obvious one, but is often not mentioned, is that the air quality, which is clearly a concern for society, concern for policymakers, is actually is improving and is unrecognisable from a generation ago. The industry, and not just the automotive industry, but a lot of sectors have done much to improve air quality. It's not fixed, and it's still an important issue that needs to be addressed. So car and engine manufacturers take this issue very seriously, as evidenced by the billions of pounds that continues to be invested in advanced low-emission diesel engines which meet the latest standard, which is called, for those not unaware, called Euro 6. I mean, all up, it's about £19 billion per year that's going to cost the industry to meet this particular challenge. So it's particularly concerning, against this backdrop of negativity surrounding cars, that 87% of UK adults, when polled in a YouGov survey, said they were unaware of this latest technology. Now, diesel has benefited from the CO2 framework because consumers, have been drawn to the features of diesel. Diesel has been benefiting from lower fiscal measures, lower taxation, and it's also obviously delivering better fuel economy. So, but you look at the diesels of today compared to the diesels of 20 years ago, and they're unrecognisable. The advent of common rail diesel engine technology has helped make them much cleaner, much more efficient, much easier to start. And obviously they still deliver that low-end torque that a lot of consumers really like in their driving style. And the evolution of new diesels has been swift. Today's modern diesel vehicles are essential to society. Clearly you see them on the road in terms of passenger cars, but also commercial vehicles, making services, delivering goods, moving people around, that is part and parcel of an effective functioning economy and a functioning society. Since 2011, particulate matter from emission cars has been all but eliminated, with high-tech filters capturing over 99% of the particulates or soot that has been emitted from diesel cars. Emissions of NOx, the other major pollutant, are also drastically down by some 84% since the millennium, with the complex exhaust treatments capturing these fumes and converting them into harmless nitrogen. So what we're seeing, in fact, in the UK is, like other European countries, this improvement in air quality on both certainly particulate and NOx as well. It's an improvement that needs to continue, and the industry believes it has the technology that will ensure that that continues. To set the context, if the motorists didn't buy any diesel cars, the UK would not have a chance of meeting its CO2 targets. And indeed, the UK has already met the European CO2 target of 130 grams, which was due at the end of this year. The next target set to the European industry is 95 grams per kilometre on average, due by 2020. That's a considerable challenge, and one that diesel is very much essential for the industry to deliver. For more context, it's also important to note that diesel cars are not the biggest contributors to air pollution. If you look across the UK, electricity generation is in fact number one. And even in central London and the notorious sort of air quality hotspots we have, diesels can't take all the blame. For while it's important, while we recognise that transport as a whole is responsible for about 40% of all NOx emissions in central London, diesel cars' share of that is only 7%. Now, from September of this year, every new car sold in the UK and Europe must meet the latest Euro 6 standard. Uptake of these cars is our best opportunity for cleaning up the UK's air, which is why it's folly to impose blanket penalties or bans that would turn motorists away. You need to distinguish between old diesel and new diesel. The automotive industry is committed to producing the cleanest technologies, but we recognise we must do more to inform consumers. So today, we'll be introducing a fact sheet and information which will be available at dealerships and available online, helping consumers understand the technology they are buying and making that informed choice. And that choice is critical. The diversity of technology is ever wider. Obviously, we're familiar with petrol and diesel, but also the increasing range of other technologies available on the market, such as hybrids, plug-in hybrids, pure electric vehicles, even hydrogen vehicles. So it's essential that consumers make the right choice for the type of vehicle they need for their driving needs, whether they live in the city, in the suburbs, or in rural areas. We want to assure them that diesel is the right choice, not just for the present, for the future as well. So it's absolutely critical that we get our message across that diesel technology and the latest diesel technology will deliver on air quality, it will deliver on addressing climate change, and it is a significant part of the future of the motor vehicle.